what happened to Andy was unfair on so many different levels. And the fact that so many people dropped the ball in that aspect. And what it comes down to is just historically, as people of color, we've always been seen as less than, and we've always been viewed as less than. So therefore we get less than services, we get less than treatment, we get less than attention. Unfortunately, a young woman went missing, and she was all over the news, but that happens to young women, Native women, every single day. And we never hear about it. And we always hear about, well, most likely they're probably drinking. Well, they're probably they're with their boyfriend, or there's always an excuse. There's always an excuse to not look into it. And that's the same concept with Andy, And in the end, somebody's life is gone, and a family will forever be changed. And seeking closure is something that, unfortunately, some of us never get. But I hope that we can start this path so we can start having critical conversations, not only here in Fremont County, but across Wyoming. Think about it, a few years ago, we had conversations about having a hate crime bill here in the state. And that failed because people kept saying, we don't need it, but we do need it. We do need it. And as a person of color, I think that should be something that all of you would want that for yourself, right? You'd want that to be able to go to a store, to go anywhere and know that you're protected. But also if something happens to you, it's going to get prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Well, sometimes that doesn't happen, and that shouldn't happen. So with us, I think this is the first step to that. And, and I encourage everybody to really continue to shed light on this stuff. And for me, this is really important. And I think it's very important that we challenge the services that may be and ask people, can we have another look into this? Can we have that extra eyes look into this? So that's something I'd really push. And once again, I want to thank every single one of you for being here today. And I appreciate it. And I appreciate all that you do. Thank you. And with that, I'm going to have Co-Chairman Spoonhunter also say some words as well. Thank you, Chairman.
Good evening, everybody. I just want to thank you all for coming out and supporting the family, Chessie and for Lavina and everyone else who planned this event. I just want to encourage you to keep fighting the good fight of faith. This is what we're all about. This is what America was built on. Peaceful demonstration, wanting answers to what the injustice that happened to Andy. The questions that remain unanswered today. Keep pushing, keep fighting, keep asking. Go to your tribal leaders, ask questions. Go to your city leaders, ask questions. Go to your county leaders, ask questions. Go to your state leaders, ask questions. Keep pushing us. Hold us accountable because we have a moral obligation and responsibility to all of you. That's why you elect us. And so I just want to thank everybody for being here again today. Andy, Andy was someone's son. Andy was someone's brother. Andy was someone's father. Andy was someone's husband. And we forget that sometimes, that life is very precious, that all of our lives are very precious, regardless of the color of our skin, regardless of the background we come from, regardless of the addictions that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. We are all equal, created equally under God. And so I just thank you. And as the chairman said today, he hit on a lot of good points, is keep fighting, keep demonstrating, keep protesting, keep marching, keep questioning until you get those answers. I just want to say thank you. And also Councilman Stephen Faster is here, and invite him up to say a few words. Ho-ho.
Is this the right mic?
Yeah, that's not the video.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for all being here in support of the family and for Andy. again, it's great to see people realizing and understanding and coming here with just compassion, you know, the human factor. That's something that we always need to continue to wear on our sleeve and share with each other, you know, love and respect. Those are some of the most important things of the human nature, you know. And again, in Wyoming, for us as Native Americans, that can be very challenging, you know, because again, the historical traumas that we've had to face just to be. You know, we continue to fight that fight every day, just to be, because of the color of our skin, because of the background that we've had to come through, the history that we have. But again, we are always compassionate, loving, caring people. And it's sad that at times those lines can be blurred because of what co-chair mentioned, because of addictions, because of someone's background, because of whatever it may be. But again, we always forget the human factor. You know, again, we should still have love and compassion for each other. That's something that I hope that we as all Wyoming citizens could learn to do more of. Because again, as it was spoken by Allison here, it's our children is who we're trying to do this for, so that they could have a better tomorrow, so that they can go out into the world knowing that they are loved and cared for. And it's not a division, that there shouldn't be a divide because of the color of your skin. We should all be one, you know, and that's something that we as Arapaho, that's part of our value system. You know, we are all one, and we always look out for each other and do the best we can. And of course, no one's perfect. You know, we all have our own issues, our own problems, but at the end of the day, we should always remember we're all brothers and sisters. And it's sad that that day had to happen for Andy, and that a lot of our people had to witness something that we would hope we'd never have to witness. But yet, here we are. And I hope that Andy's purpose will continue. I hope that this can continue every year and get bigger and better, and that we continue to find the way to shorten or to make the gap disappear between the lines. You know, there shouldn't be lines that divide us. We should all be together, because again, this is our community. We're as much as this community as anybody else. And again, that's what the United States stands for. You know, we're all supposed to be in this together. As it was mentioned for the veterans have always fought for each and every one of us, regardless of our skin color, or what race, or nationality, or whatever. You know, they fought for us for the freedom. And so I hope that, if anything, that we all look and try our best for our kids and for the future of each of us. Because again, we all need to depend on one another and continue to try to make the change that is necessary for a better tomorrow for all of our children. And I'm glad to see Senator Kel Case here, you know, joining in with the efforts here, and appreciate all of you individuals who are here. You know, it takes a lot of strength and courage just to stand out in an area that really looks down on people just trying to come together at times. And I know that our tribe and our community members have strived to make those changes. Those changes are happening. To see all of you here today says that change, you know. We're witnessing the change. And so I hope that we continue to push that envelope, continue to get those lines out of there, and understand that diversity is good for all of us. And diversity is something that the rest of the world deals with every day. But for us, we still have a ways to go yet. And I sure hope that each one of us can take that with us and hold strength in each other to carry that forward and make it better for our kids. So thank you. And I'd like to invite Kel Case to say a few words.
Careful of the mic.
Thank you.
Well, hello everybody. I came here to walk with you and remember. It's about as simple as that. I think every life is so important, and I think as a country, I think we've lost a lot of respect for each other. The Republicans and the Democrats have lost respect. We've lost respect across racial lines. We've lost respect for the institutions of our government, and we've lost respect for each other. And we've lost respect for ourselves. And I guess this is how we start to change things. I don't really have all the answers here. It's not quite so black and white for me, and I have good friends that are angry at me for being here. And I would really like to bring us all together more. And I'd like to see some healing happen. It's been 2 years today. I think about this a lot. I think about a man's body lying there for hours while a store stayed open. It's unfathomable to me. The body was uncovered for so long, and it didn't have to happen. Our government doesn't have to kill people. And I don't know how to fix that. I'm not picking on the officer, I'm not picking on the police, but a lot of people do die. And it's not right. We've got to find a better way. I don't think it needed to happen at all. There's no scenario. But I wasn't the person that was there, right? I wasn't his mind, what he did when he finally pulled the gun and killed him. What made him think that he could do that? Where did that come from? Did it come from his colleagues, the government that says it's okay to do that? Did it come from us who said it's okay to do that? I don't know. People just don't do that. And let's not do it anymore. And I want to shout out to my colleague, Andy Clifford. If she was here, she'd do such a better job than me. And she's quarantined. And anyway, Councilman, Mr. Chairman, Jesse, thank you for doing this. Allison, thanks to you and the drums. We just have to start respecting each other and ourselves now. That'll do it. It really will. Thank you. And hey, I'm not a mask wearer, not exactly, but I want people to see I'm here, and they want them to recognize, not you guys, you know who I am, but I want the people that drove by to see that I'm here. So, I hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to ask Angelo Sage to read a letter from a person who would like to have been here today and cannot be. He's in Torrington in prison. He's Andy Antelope's oldest son, Anderson Antelope Jr. And if Angelo will come forth and read that letter.
Hello everyone, and this is an honor, by the way. What Anderson Antelope said in his letter is, The county attorney, Patrick LeBurn, has tried to quiet my voice by locking me up, but all it did was sober me up, and now more dedicated than ever. Believe me that I have not given up on getting justice for my dad. I want to thank everyone who showed up today and for giving respect to my dad. A special thanks to those who are helping and committed to continuing our efforts, like Chessie Lee and Antonio Serrano. My dad was loved by me, his other sons, and his daughters, and everyone in the family. My dad was a person whose life mattered in the Arapaho community. 2 years ago, he encountered a police officer in whose eyes my dad was not a person, whose life to him did not matter. But perhaps even greater than the evil of the officer Donahue is the evil of the Riverton justice dispensing system that legalized the murder of my father by refusing to hold the murderer accountable. You may ask, why do I feel the murder of my father was unjustified? Here's my answer. It was Officer Donahue who forced the contact. He could have de-escalated the situation by releasing the contact with my father and stepping back from where my father was sitting. After stepping back from my father, he could have used less lethal force, such as a taser or a mace, to get my father to comply. He failed to use any of the non-lethal options to him, but instead he chose a lethal option. Not only did he use a lethal option, but he chose to shoot my father in a place on his body that was fatal. Officer Donahue knew my father was incapacitated both physically and mentally due to his extreme level of intoxication. My dad was no threat to anyone nearby that day. There was no reports or complaints about anyone being threatened. Yet the officer responded to the scene as if there had been complaints of physical and verbal abuse and assault. I want to see justice for my father's death. I urge you to sign and continue. Sorry about that. I urge you to sign the petition and continue your help to obtain justice for my father. And I'm not giving up hope, and you won't either. Ha-ho.
I'd like to say this is a sad thing to come to because I had a nephew in Sioux Falls, South Dakota that got shot and killed by a Sioux Falls police officer in South Dakota. So that's why I'm here tonight, in honor of your loved one that passed away and in honor of my nephew. So that's why I'm here. I support everything that this is occurring, and I hope a good result will come.
This is not just an Indian problem. We white people have got to step up. Senator Case said it well, and I know that some of us are coming together. Several are here from Lander, some even came from Laramie to be here for this because they want to see justice. And just as in the South during the 1960s, and I was alive then, and I know how the blacks in the South were not really able to accomplish that much until they were able to get national media. And they were not able to do that until white people from the North, who they invited, came and stood with Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks and others who were on the front lines. And that's what I think it's going to take in this effort. You know, when Councilman Stephen Fasthorse said, you know, we hopes that this continues every year and it grows every year, I think some things will need to happen. Hopefully we see some change, not just that we come together and all feel bad about what happened 2 years ago today, but that we actually have some change. And one of the things that Andy Clifford, who couldn't be here tonight, her daughter's has COVID, and she's with her daughter in Denver. Her daughter's pregnant, and so she's very concerned about her daughter. But she did send her regrets about being here. But those who were at the People's Theater inquest, one of the things that she said that needed to happen is people turning out to vote and to change who gets elected, to elect those people who will stand for justice. And we have a county attorney who has not done that. You know, he's allowed inquests to happen for other people, but he stood in the way of the coroner's request for an inquest for justice for Andy. We have a city council and a mayor who joined in that effort. We have a chief of police who practically bragged to me that no, he would not cooperate with an inquest. Even if he were subpoenaed, he would not show up. And it just astounded me that somebody who is the chief of police, a law enforcement officer, says he will not obey the law. So it's, you know, we have a fight ahead of us, but by sticking together, I think we can make a difference. By people voting, by people talking to legislators so that we have more than Andy Clifford and Cale Case standing with us, that they understand that what happened that day is not just black and white. You know, so many said, but Andy had a knife. But they didn't look beyond that there were alternatives to having killed Andy Antelope. So not let his life be in vain. I talk quite frequently with Anderson Antelope Jr., and I know he talks also with his aunt, Lavina Bell, and others of his family. But one of the things he told me that how much he appreciates what we are doing, and then he's sure his Father's in heaven smiling down at us. So let's make his dad proud of what we can do to change things.
On behalf of my family, we'd just like to thank the chairman, the co-chairman, and the community for coming out to support this event for my Uncle Anderson. And I'd like to thank the Riverton Peace Church for organizing this. So thank you guys for all coming out to support.
Okay, don't be shy, come and eat. The reason we're having pizza is that his son Anderson told me that was his father's favorite food. So when you're eating the pizza, remember Andy.